All right, I think we are live and good to go here. I always got to double check YouTube every time, bro. Every time. Let's see. All
What
right,
kind of amateur production is this, man?
I think we're good, bro. It's not me, man. It's StreamYard. All right, I think we're good. Sweet. How's it going, bro?
It's been an interesting couple days, man. Very interesting couple days where we had all these must-win games week after week after week, and then I think Sunday was the ultimate demise and rock bottom for the organization, where you truly need to evaluate your state of your own mind and the state of the rest of this organization, as there are legitimately more questions than answers, and you got to try to find a light in the tunnel. And I'm not sure we can even find it. So it's I mean, I think I'm broken, dude. I think they finally broke me where I'm literally just fed up. And that's good. We've been through a lot, man. The Gase, all like the tank years and all this nonsense. This is finally the breaking point for me where I'm like, you know what? I'm starting to really stop caring about them because they're becoming irrelevant very fast.
Well, you mean this season?
Yes.
The 2024 Jets. You mean,
Yep.
right? Yeah. So
not even this. You want to get me started already? Not even this season. Because you look at what the state's organization is. You're one more loss away, which will probably be Thursday, from having a fire sale, which they should do, which they won't. And then you're going to be like, all right, there's always next year. The Jets mantra by Halloween, which timely enough, it's Halloween. It's our almost, there comes next year, right? Where is our direction? Where is our leadership? What are we going to do? Need a general manager, need a coach, probably need a quarterback. Plus, you have a ton of free agents on this team, too. Like, whole thing is, oh, we have $50 million in cap space. And guess what? You got a litany of holes at pivotal positions that you have to fill. So the whole trust the process nonsense doesn't make me feel warm and fuzzy because we've already been through it. So we talked about this in the entire offseason. This was the swing big year. This is the year you have to win this year. You have to make a run because the aftermath, if you don't, is going to be very, very ugly. Well, guess what? We're facing the ugly now because there are so many problems going forward that it makes you feel uneasy. Like you don't really have any faith now.
Well, it's just mad annoying because it's like this, like you said, bro, like this was the year that they did swing big.
Yep.
Rodgers is healthy, Hassan Reddick, Devontae Adams, stacked on top, Kinlaw, all these different guys, right? Stacked on top of a team that has Brees, has Garrett, has Gardner, all these different dudes, CJ Mosley, Quincy Williams, Quinton Williams. The team, what drives me up a wall, dude, is like we're not even relevant.
Nope.
Not even close to being relevant, dude. Like, it would be one thing if it, all right, we have 4 wins. It's a little disappointing. You'd want to be above Buffalo or, I mean, it sounds crazy to say like knocking on the door of first place, right? Like right behind Buffalo. But if the season ended today, what would the draft pick be? Fourth? The New York Jets are, it's crazy, bro. The New York Jets have this much talent, these many stars. And if the season finished today, they would have the 4th pick in the draft. You're looking at what teams are doing, like Washington.
Yep.
I mean, they are flying with a brand new coach, brand new quarterback, right? Just everything is figured out. So,
but you know what it is like, but they didn't swing big in one facet. And this is not second guessing. This is first guessing, which we talked about this last year. We had the benefit of videos to prove that is if they would have swung big at the end of last year, they would have fired coaches because coaching was the problem last year. Coaching is the problem this year. Saleh, Hackett, Downing, Keith Carter have been a problem the entire time, and it's not a secret. And we knew it last year. But what they told us last year was, you know what? We're a quarterback away, and that quarterback can overcome all the incompetence. Well, guess what? Rodgers can't because you're far too incompetent. And the reason why we know this is because you have analysts all throughout the NFL breaking down the Jets and be like, fundamentally, this team's not prepared. Fundamentally, they are poorly coached where they can't execute a basic block, a basic play call, anything. You lost 3 timeouts in the first quarter. That's some stuff like, dude, that's why like I don't give this team any kind like, oh, they have talent. They are a bunch of individuals showing up and collecting paychecks and don't give a rat's ass about anything else because they know in their hearts they're not being properly coached. They know they have no accountability. They know they have no leadership and they're not faking it anymore. Like, you know what? That was my fault. That was his fault. And they're watching it all fall apart and nobody cares. And that's a fact, dude. It's what you're seeing. So if they're losing 31-28 and playing great football, I can buy into it. They're embarrassing themselves week after week after week with incompetence, with poor play, with mediocrity, with terrible personal fouls. And then the topper of all this is you have a kicker on the team that should have been cut 3 weeks ago. We talked about it. He should be cut. Why is he on the team today? And you hear him talk about it. Did you hear Ulbricht's press conference yesterday? Dude, I was ready to throw my laptop through the wall. They said, you talk about accountability. If you're going to hold somebody accountable, isn't it a results-driven business? This guy's been horrific. The worst kicker in football, and it's not even close. Cost you 3 games. Well, we got to control the controllables. He comes to work and he works hard every day. That right there, Ian, is the problem with this organization. Working hard is just not good enough. You got to be good at your job. And if you're not good at your job, you get replaced. Zuerlein should be out. Michael Clemens, his weekly personal foul. Ever get held accountable? No. Kinlaw, a liability. Ever get benched? No. There's nobody that cares because you know what? There's no repercussions for being bad here. None. Today, they're talking about this guy, the kicker tryout today. They tried out 5 kickers. Oh, we got to look tomorrow. We got to worry about the operations of the kick. The operations suck. You're missing kicks. He should have been cut yesterday. Dude, I guarantee they're probably like, you know what? We got to keep him one more game because I think we worked out the snap better. Bro, give me a break. The Jets are a losing organization that act like losers day in and day out on and off the field, period.
So there's no standard.
None.
I mean, like there's zero standard. Like, talk about the good teams, the well-ran teams: Baltimore, Pittsburgh, Philly, Buffalo, Detroit. Now there's a standard, right? When you walk in, there's a sense of like, this is professional football. And this whole kicking thing is absolutely ludicrous. It is insane, dude.
Yep.
I mean, I have not, because like as Jets fans, we've seen our fair share of missed kicks and the Jets cycling through different guys. And, you know, maybe we think we have the answer and then the following year it all falls apart. But we are not talking about the quarterback position. We're not talking about somebody that is making $30 million and it's just like, you know, we're trying to get off the contract. You know, it's not like Deshaun Watson in Cleveland.
No.
Owner might be forcing him to play. We were talking about the kicking position. It's no disrespect to the kicking position, but the facts are there's a million guys out there that can come in and potentially be better. And the lack of foresight from the organization from top to bottom is just mind-blowing to me. I mean, you can point to tons of different areas, right? Forcing Zach to start early, assuming everything's going to go well with, you know, Saleh as a first-year head coach and a first-year OC, Mike LaFleur, not giving Zach a veteran, you know, some help, right, as a backup quarterback. The list truly goes on, right? Rodgers getting hurt. Oh, you know, who could have saw that? I mean, to me, it's the organization, it's the general manager and organization's job to be able to not leave a stone unturned, be able to go through and vet every single possible outcome. You know, even though no one, well, what happens if Rodgers gets hurt? There needs to be a plan B. There needs to be some sort of, you know, insurance policy, this emergency fail-safe button that you need to hit to where you can be prepared. And then we're looking at this kicking position. It's the same issue. It's the same lack of being prepared, a lack of a proactive approach where it's like, you know what happens? First of all, kicker is a position that I would say is one of the hardest in football to play your way out of a slump.
Thank you.
This is not baseball where you have, you know, you're struggling in the first 3 weeks of the season and you have 110 games to figure it out, 120 games to figure it out. No.
But then my question is, who's responsible for this then? Because when Ulbrich said he's got to work through it, I'm like, if you have an adult NFL mind and you know the kicker's a liability, there's no way that everybody's like, you know, let's keep him here because he's going to figure it out. Like, the NFL is a cutthroat business, man. It is results driven. If you don't do your job, you're out of here. You see it every week in the NFL. So who's making the decision? Is it Ulbrich? If he can't do it, if it's not Joe Douglas, he should be fired today. He should have been fired on Monday anyway. He should already be fired, Joe Douglas. He's got no reason to be here anymore. His job is done and he's out. But who makes the decision? Is it literally Ulbrich saying, you know what, we got to keep him? Is it Brant Boyer? Who decides this?
Well, let me throw this at you, okay? because I was thinking about this earlier today. It just makes no sense because we got a report suggesting that the Jets brought a ton of kickers to MetLife Stadium to go through, in my opinion, like what was like, it almost seemed like it was just like a circuit tryout. Like, all right, here's what we're going to do. And we'll see, who comes out on top, and still no moves were made. It's not, again, we're not talking about quarterback or wide receiver or left tackle where it's like, oh, we got to play mind games with the opposing team. We're talking about the kicking position.
Right.
There's no benefit in like withholding information right throughout the week, which then leads me to believe we still don't know what to do. But again, right, I think it.
But how do you look the locker room in their face? How does Ulbrich look at all these guys in the face when they know he's literally a liability? You're preaching winning culture, and you're telling me there's a standard, and you're going to look Garrett Wilson in the eyes, Quinnen Williams in the eyes, Quincy Williams in the eyes. Yo, man, he's our best chance to win. There's no way they believe that. Like this is where you lose a locker room where they're like, yo, if he keeps missing kicks, you keep bringing him out there, dude. You guys don't want to win. Like that's what I would think as a player. Like you guys don't want to win. We can't take you seriously as an organization if you want to keep trotting him back out there.
So while you were talking, I looked up Greg's contract. This is what I was going to say before. Like I'm curious to get your take. Do you think, because again, the bottom line, the point that we're trying to drive home here, it is common sense. Yep. If you were playing Madden, you would have done a kicking swap, let alone real life, and it's costing people jobs and games, and it's costing teams the win, right?
Right.
I mean, how many points did did the kicking position leave on the board in Sunday's game? 4.
Yep.
How many did we lose by? 3.
Yep.
It's not all on Zuerlein. There's tons of other issues, but it goes to show there is still no accountability. But because it's so like laughably insane, do you think there is maybe some sort of ownership or general manager pull because Greg Zuerlein signed a 2-year deal and he's owed money next year?
Bro, if that's the way you're going to run an organization, you're always going to stay the same. Seriously, you're willing to spend money for Devontae Adams and give all this money, all these different, and then you're going to pinch pennies. So you're going to be penny wise and dollar foolish and lose victories over it. That's just asinine. But you know what? It's interesting because like this is what I try to think. You want to think the Jets have football guys making football decisions, but then you watch last year. Last year's where I was like, you know what? This isn't the case. Because anybody with any kind of common sense, once Aaron Rodgers went down, which we talked about extensively for 3 months, you need a veteran backup ASAP. Whoever it was, Carson Wentz, whoever it was, all the guys were like, sign somebody now, trade for somebody, get this done. And the more the season play out, and the longer I'm like, you know what? It's got to be a money thing. It's got to be something where Woody's like, you know what? I gave you these resources, make the most of it. So is he part of this now? Because Joe Douglas is a smart guy. There's no way in living hell he's sitting there like, you know what? Zuerlein's my guy. There's no, it's right. He's not incompetent, right? Like we all know this.
But we have seen, and Dante, I appreciate you, bro. Thank you so much for that, man. It really does mean a lot. He says, can someone explain to me why we as Jets fans can see the issues and how to address them, but these professionals cannot and often don't address these issues? Can someone answer me that? I think that's what drives fans up a wall. That's why I'm, on the verge of a mental breakdown after every recap game or after every game in the recap videos. It's like, what is going on? And, another kind of separate issue is that you're looking at the other 31 teams in football. Are there this many problems?
Nope. But that's coaching,
Jacksonville or Cleveland, but go ahead.
It's coaching. This is coaching.
Well, I think it's more than just coaching.
No, but okay, so you're going to tell me that Jets don't have a serviceable offensive line? Serviceable, not top 10, but like enough to be competent. They do. They can't figure out when blitzes are coming and how to defend it. Like they are lost. You had 3 offensive linemen blocking 1 defensive end, 3 of them. And then you've got a clear shot of Rodgers. So it's like they don't know what they're doing. They don't know what routes they're running. You clearly wonder what they do all week in practice. So I think in terms of talent, they may have it. I think we overrate some players more than we should. But, dude, they shouldn't be this bad. They're fundamentally terrible.
I think it's a lot more than coaching is clearly an issue. It's the worst staff in football. Can you find me a worse offensive staff?
No,
Not to be rude or mean, but honestly,
and then I think you go from the coaching is a problem. I think leadership is an enormous problem, and that starts with Aaron Rodgers. It really does, because this team thought he was the answer to everything, and then when you see, you know what, he can't fix the offensive line calls. He can't get the plays in. He's getting delayed games. He's throwing interceptions, and you see his body language. The guy they all looked up to be the guiding light to fix all the problems can't do it, and looks demoralized, dazed, and confused, and is counting down the days to get the hell out of here. That's a problem. Like, you see the body language in everybody, to the point that Davante Adams had to come here and be like, there's no energy here. Brees Hall runs for 60 yards. Nobody even cares, because they're zombies. They know the losing culture. They know they can't get out of it. And they believe in nobody. They don't believe in Rodgers. They don't believe in Olbert. They believe in none of these guys.
I think what do you
think? Like what, they have talent, dude, but they're not competing. That's the problem. They have no passion. They have no pride. They're not competing.
God, dude, it's. I wish there was just one issue. I wish there were two issues, right? Yeah. Oh, we can't stop the run. We just need a run stuffer. Maybe we got to switch things up. But it is problem after problem after problem after problem. And it's like, this is the type of position where you can't really get mad at fans for being angry or upset or frustrated or disappointed. It would be one thing if we were in the position of the New England Patriots or the Carolina Panthers or Tennessee might not be that best, be the best example because they have a bunch of veterans as well. But one of these like young rebuilding teams, or if Saleh and JD was year 1 or year 2 of the regime, Douglas took over in 2019, man. And we've just seen a lack of, again, a proactive approach. We've seen excuses all over the place. It's just issue after issue, right? Game planning, play calling, tackling, can't stop the run. Offensive line doesn't know who to block. Injuries have been an issue. It's quarterback play. I think really the Jets just, to me, they lack the foundational pillars that a professional NFL organization should have: accountability, discipline, a leader. Just again, some resemblance of a culture.
Yep.
The Jets just don't have a culture at all.
You need culture guys.
Yeah, I mean, I think it really I think it starts at the top. I don't think players can come in and change the culture at this point.
Right.
Because there's nothing to change, really. There's nothing there. It's like if you're a defensive player and you get drafted to the Ravens, like you walk in and you are like, okay, this is a tough physical football team. This is our MO, ground game, right? We're not going to, like, what it feels like to be a Baltimore Raven. You know what it feels like to be a Pittsburgh Steeler, right? Fans know what a Steelers team looks like.
But dude, know what that is? But this is an excellent point, because I interviewed both Aaron Glenn and Marcus Coleman, Jets back with the Parcells days and all that, and Victor Green. I interviewed all of them. And the thing they said was, when you were in that locker room or the film room or the weight room, you had to give your best, because you had Mo Lewis looking at you, Brian Cox, Kevin, like all these guys, like guys that were like, you better know what you're doing and be on your spots. If not, we're going to be on your ass making sure you do it. Like, you walked in the locker room and be like, you know what? I got to bring my A game every absolute week, because I'm not going to play. I'm not going to be here. There was actually a fear of performing poorly. That's the fear. With the Jets, there's no fear like that at all, because who is that guy? Like, we thought, like, CJ Mosley is an excellent leader. He's one man. Other than that, we thought that was going to be like Sauce and Garrett once they got more established, Brees Hall, all these young players. Like, you know what? Our young core, I think losing Jermaine Johnson was big, because he brought a lot of passion and energy. But who are these guys that rally around when the going gets tough and stands up and says, you know what? I don't want to lose. Who are those guys? You don't see any of them, dude, including the quarterback.
I think really Quincy Williams, Will McDonald.
Will McDonald's not that guy. Quincy Williams is. I'll give you Quincy Williams. I mean, who is that fire and brimstone guy on the offensive side of the ball says, you know what? We got to cut this nonsense out. We got to play a lot better. It's not Tyron Smith. It's not Morgan Moses. They're respected, but you need these guys that just pick you off the ground and be like, you know what? Enough is enough. I don't want to lose. Like, you look in the past, like a guy like Ray Lewis. Dude, you knew you didn't want to lose with him, right? Even like the Jets, Bart Scott and those guys, they had that tenacity where it's like, you know, this is unacceptable. Willie Colon, all those players where it's just, this is our level. Get to our level or get out. There's nobody on this team that does that. Nobody.
But there's no level to even like bring that to compare it to. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know, we have like you can just go down the list of all these great leaders, right? Of pretty. I mean, I want to say there's major ones in any NFL organization right throughout the history. You know, Drew Brees with the Saints, great example. Brian Dawkins with the Eagles, great example. Antonio Pierce and Strahan with the Giants. Like there's so many players. And even with the New York Jets, man, like there you can go out and count tons and list off tons of, you know, just heartbeats of the team.
Yep.
Guys that really stand apart to where, hey, you know what, if things you know, start getting tough or there's a losing streak or whatever it is, whether it's players, fans, coaches, they all kind of gravitate towards those leaders to, you know, lead the way here.
They made it Aaron Rodgers. They made that leader Aaron Rodgers, and he's disappointed them on and off the field.
Well, dude, I mean, I don't know how you feel about kind of the weird, like it to me, it's almost like backhanded. I think I mean, it sounds weird to say throwing guys under the bus. And I don't want it to get confused with accountability, but we've heard Rodgers talk a lot about other people after the game, whether it's Garrett Wilson constantly slipping after the London game. Oh, you know, he's falling down, he's slipping, there's field issues. You know, most recently, oh, well, we got to score 30 points.
Yep.
Mike Williams running the wrong route. It like, I don't know, man. I think you hit the nail right on the head. I don't really feel like there is a major, you know, leadership vibe coming off of Aaron Rodgers here. It just feels like he's demoralized. I mean, and even the body language too from players on the field and on the sidelines. It just looks like, you know, guys are rolling their eyes, guys are throwing their hands up, they're looking to the refs a lot.
Oh, it's easy to be a leader and a pain in the ass when you're playing very well. It's very hard to be a leader when you're not playing well and you look like, you know, last week at one point in the game, he couldn't move in the pocket at all. He couldn't. He was so limited. I'm like, you know what? At some point, his lack of mobility is a liability where it's like, put Tyrod in, because it's not about Aaron Rodgers keeping his legacy here with the Jets. It's about winning football games. And you could have made an argument, if Rodgers can't move, play Tyrod. Give him any chance you can to win this game because it's important. And also the point, like, you know what? Play Tyrod tomorrow or on Thursday because you need not only a spark, a guy that can move because our offensive line can't pick up the blitz. But that's where you're at. But he can't be – he's pointing fingers at everybody else. And they're like, look at you, dude. Like, you're talking about me. Look at you. You're throwing terrible interceptions. Yeah. You're missing, you know, fourth quarter throws the first 3 weeks of the season. He missed money throws he always makes that could have won games in London, other plays. It's just like everybody can point fingers because they're all part of the problem. But who's the answer is the question. And that's what
I don't think there's anyone here that is the answer.
That's the problem. And you look at, going back to Douglas real quick, this thing that pisses me off the most, the Patriots in the fourth quarter, this Jets defense, Joe Douglas has successfully ruined the strength of this team as the defensive line is a shell of itself. You have undrafted free agents just trying to figure out how to play the NFL. You have all these guys getting pushed around, Reddick running around with his head cut off, and it's just, they're worthless, dude. They're getting pushed around. You couldn't stop a basic vanilla Patriot offense. You know, was it 3rd and 9? Brissett ran for 14 yards. I mean, it was like they're nothing what they used to be. And like, oh, well, Salah's gone. Guess what? This defense wasn't going to be good with Salah either because there's no more talent there. The defensive line is just, it's stripped of it.
Well, you know what's interesting too? It's like, you know, we lost all these guys. In the case of JFM, we actively traded him away. But in regards to, you know, losing Quentin Jefferson and replacing him with Kinlaw, losing Al Woods and replacing him with Leki Fotu, the New York Jets, to me, I don't know this to be a fact. This is kind of an assumption on my end, but I would assume that the New York Jets felt as though these are upgrades because we overpaid.
Yeah, oh yeah. Well, I think Saleh and Ulbrich got very arrogant with their scheme. I think they're like, you know, we don't need Bryce Huff. We don't need John Franklin Myers. We're bringing my guys. And they'll like our scheme. He told us our scheme is too good to fail, right? They told us like, why don't you make adjustments? Nope. We know our defense works. We know it does. Kinlaw's been a colossal bust. Like it's historically bad at this point, how bad he is. And it's just now you're seeing, and it's just, you're seeing like all like I think they count on the offense to be a little bit better. So defense can be a little bit worse. And the offense isn't. Now it's exposing all the warts everywhere.
Yeah, but if you look at the contracts, right? They, you know, Kinlaw, like, so in other words, I don't want to hear the excuse of like, oh well, the Jets. We were trying to make clear money for Reddick, and we had plans to go out and acquire Devontae. We had to go out and sign a backup quarterback. That to me is not a relevant excuse because again, they overpaid. What, like, for example, Kinlaw was expected to get 1 year $4 million. He got 1 year $8 million.
Yep.
So, and also, I mean, look at what Quentin Jefferson got. Look at, like, I don't even know if Al Woods is on the team right now. You know what I mean?
John Franklin Myers is a huge loss. He is.
I mean, yeah, we could even talk about his tweet too. And we've talked about this on other shows. Sorry, go ahead.
No, and the thing is, like, I see it in the chat. Like, the minute the Jets side Kinlaw, the cool thing about having these channels is a lot of the opposing fans will talk to us about it. Like, bro, Kinlaw is a true project who played well the year before, but is nowhere near what Saleh's saying he is. And they're like, dude, be careful. And exactly what the 49ers told us is exactly what we're seeing. Almost verbatim. It's wild, dude.
So, Valen, bro, I appreciate you, man. Thank you so much for that. Yeah, I think really just fans are just sick and tired of losing. That's really the bottom line here. I had the Jets winning 11 games this season, but knew it would implode. Yeah, I was thinking 10, 11 games as well, man.
We both were.
And then Jason, bro, I appreciate you, man. You are allowed to be arrogant until you stop being great.
Bingo.
Blame everyone else for losses while winning MVPs in 12 games, and it's tolerated and excuses made. Can't be done when leading a losing team.
Well said.
Yeah, I think it's one thing if Pat Mahomes or Lamar Jackson or Josh Allen or Joe Burrow, right? One of these guys step up and, they're kind of, to your point, they become the leader of that team. And if something difficult needs to be said, they have that leash to go out and say it. But if you are kind of part of the problem, then I think the words just don't really carry a lot of weight.
Well, because you look at all like the joint practices and the training camp practices, and Aaron Rodgers is lighting up because he's not getting hit, and they blow the plays dead. Then when the actual live games start and the players expect high level Aaron Rodgers, and they're seeing a guy that can't get the snap off, throwing errant passes, interceptions, body language is terrible. Then he's getting banged up, he's hurt. It's just like, all right, we were sold this great player, which we all thought we were getting, and now we're getting a shell of himself. And he's being a jerk to us, or he's demanding more and doing this, and he can't even hold his own weight right now. It's a disaster, dude. And it's like, it's since that Patriot game, the first one, it's been all downhill. They thought they arrived, and whatever they did, it went to hell because they've just fallen apart.
So, Grant, has there been any news on Jordan Travis? If and when the Jets lose to the Texans, I want to see all the young guys playing. Evaluations start now after Houston. Yeah, I think you make a fantastic point. I want to see Olu out there. I want to see Corley getting snaps. The safety position has just been flat out horrible outside of Jalen Mills. I wouldn't mind just sticking Jalen Key back there and just seeing what's going on. And even, if you want to come back with the argument of, oh, well, whatever it is, Ashton Davis gives us, a better chance to win. We're 2-6 right now. We don't even, not even including the Houston game,
right.
So this is clearly not. Maybe we need to rethink some things.
Grant, I am 1,000% on board with you with this on a whole different level. Jordan Travis isn't playing this year, unfortunately. He's not going to play. But here's the problem we have. Say the Jets win on Thursday. You're delaying all this. So if you're looking for the tank and rebuild, you're hoping for a loss on Thursday. But the problem is you have a lame duck general manager. You have a interim head coach. They're trying to find a way to win to save face. That's why Monday I would have fired Joe Douglas. Because you know what? Do you honestly want Joe Douglas making decisions now when he's not even going to be here next year? And does he have the ability to do that? Just say, for example, the 49ers call up and be like, you know what? We want Mike Williams for a 5th-round pick. Joe Douglas is like, you know what? I may need him to try to win a game or two at the end of the season. Or, if he was going to be here next year, be like, you know what? Gone. You're out of here. Hassan Reddick, boom. Like, you could literally clean house very easy because some of these players teams want. But Joe Douglas is a lame duck general manager. Do you honestly want him making decisions for this team right now?
Yeah, I mean, it's an excellent point.
And if not, who's going to do it? If you fire him, you got to get an interim general manager. You don't want him making decisions, so who else is going to do it?
Well, by the way, you remember when Gase became general manager?
Oh, yeah, make Ulbrich the guy. Give him another responsibility he can't handle.
So Marcus, Woody Johnson's problem number one. So Yeah, that's the thing, man. It's like whenever you're in a position where the ownership is in question, it's always a tough spot. But the problem is the separation between ownership and literally everyone else. Um, by the way, sorry, we got breaking news here. Just a NFL trade. So Jags traded Cam Robinson, their left tackle, to the Vikings.
Nice. Well, that's because what's his face got hurt last week, so that's a that's a win now move for the Vikings.
Yeah, I don't know what the compensation is, but again, the problem is with this whole ownership thing, you can't change like Woody can't step down. He can't sell the team unless he wants to.
Yep.
There's no performance bait. The NFL can't force Woody out, because he's losing. Luckily for, I mean, it sounds weird to say this, but there's other NFL teams with horrible owners, and you can turn it around. You can win if you find the right guys. The teams that I watched growing up just look horrible every single year are some of the strongest brand NFL teams today.
Yep, absolutely.
And there's different types of owners and everything like that. But I agree with you, right? Woody Johnson, he is it's just a complete distraction, and
it starts with him. The culture starts with him. Some of these decisions start with him. The finances start with him. And now it's just like I think he's in over his head right now because he fired Saleh hoping for a spark. He got Davante Adams hoping for a spark, and it didn't happen. Now it's like you have a staff that is just lost, and now you have to be a buyer or seller, and they should be sellers, and they won't. And it's just going to be just a mishmash of bad decisions going forward.
So, Johnny, bro, I appreciate that. He says, Yo, Tyson, congrats on your last post game reaction video, gathering over 30K views. Dude, that's sweet, man. That's awesome.
You know what it was, Johnny? I had to act like Ian just one time. He's like the big guy, gets all the big views. I'm in the lower echelon. So there's one day living in Ian's life.
No, dude, no. That video was awesome, bro. I'm always tuning into your post game recaps because we don't really because you do the streams. We don't really talk during the game. We'll talk before, we'll talk after. So I'm always interested. And I caught a little bit of actually your stream last night, last like 10-15 minutes of it, which was really good. But yeah, dude, congratulations. That's
crazy.
That's awesome. And then Johnny, I appreciate the 5, man. Thank you. Dante, thanks so much. I'm starting to fall in love with the idea of having Pete Carroll as VP of operations and keeping Woody away from any football decisions. I'm with you. I agree with you. But the problem is when you're the owner of the team, it's very difficult to tell someone, in a position like that where he owns the team, no, you don't make any decisions. You quiet down. It's my team now.
But that's the only way to fix this organization, dude. You literally need a powerful, football person that comes in and said with an extensive resume of winning and a program. Like, listen, man, if you want me, which the Jets desperately need, an NFL executive that's really with strong prowess, I want full power and full say. And all you do is pay the bills. That's it. You say the way I got this. That is the only way the Jets can turn around. The only way. Because you're not going to have a first-time general manager, a first-time head coach. It's never going to work. You need a big-time executive with a big-time coach come in here and lay the law down around here. You have to.
Yeah, so Grant, I don't think Douglas is making decisions anymore. I think Woody's pulling the strings. Yeah, I mean,
then fire him.
At this
seriously, what is he here for? What is Joe Douglas here for? The kicker should have been cut. He's still here.
You can't fire Joe Douglas at this point.
Why not?
Because think about the optics.
The optics. They've lost 5 in a row. They're the worst team in football. And now you have to. This is typical Jets. This is what they do. They let Mike McHagnon spend $100 million, go through the draft, and then they fired him. Now you're going to let Joe Douglas go through the trade deadline, and then fire him at the end of the season? When you can have him make moves now, but he's not going to because he's probably scared for his job?
Well, if Grant's right here, it's Woody's decision. And if he says sell, I think the Jets are going to sell. But
then he should resign. Does he want to be a puppet and embarrass himself?
Well, there needs to be, in my opinion, a force, again, a proactive approach and kind of look towards the future. 2025, we all know Douglas is not going to be here for the next 10 years, right? It's just not going to happen. I'm under the mindset that there will be a new GM and that there will be a new head coach. So we've already fired Robert Saleh 5 weeks into the season, where the firing is justifiable. The timing to me was weird and not so great. And I think, again, you can look at Saleh's record, you can look at this and that, issue after issue. But to fire a coach like that 5 weeks into the season, to me, it screams, you know what? If he was on this short of a leash, you should have done it in the offseason.
Bingo.
So, where you were at least, again, acting like a professional franchise, and you're saying, hey, you know what? It's not going to work out. We're going to move on. We're going to move forward with someone else and find your guy in that offseason. And now you allow Saleh to go out and do, his thing and find another job. And I'm not saying that because I'm a, fan of Saleh, the guy, although I wish him nothing but the best. But think about what future head coaching candidates, just picture Cliff Kingsbury, right? He walks in and, for a Jets interview, and he is 100% justified in asking the question, hey, if things aren't going well next season, am I at risk of getting canned in the middle of the year and humiliated 5 weeks in, or two years? Like there's an optic level that I feel like is relevant. And if the Jets fire Saleh in week 5 and then their GM, which you never really see GMs get fired in the middle of the year unless they're doing a complete wipe of the organization, right, where they're starting clean. To me, you just can't be in that position, because then, for new candidates coming in, it's like, dude, this organization pretty much just humiliate. Okay, so, and again, I'm not defending the jobs that these guys are doing, but
we'll play this game then. So, okay, just saying through the Jets lose Thursday night, 2-7. I think it's over now, but whatever. You got to be officially eliminated. Who in this organization is going to tell Ulbrich, listen, man, Tyron Smith's got to go to the bench, Olu's got to play? Who makes that decision? Does Joe Douglas do that? Or Joe Douglas sit back and be like, you know what? Not my problem. I'm not going to be here next year anyway. I really don't care if Olu plays or not. Not really my problem. Like, who is the executive in the room that says, you know what? Well, we are now in tank. We're not in tank mode, but we need to see what's on our rock. We need to start evaluating what we actually have here. Corley's not playing. Olu's not playing. Carter Warren's not playing. Mac, like all the nobody's playing. But now they have to. We need to know what we have. Trade away, Mike Williams. Trade away Lazard. Put Lazard on IR. Any guy's questionable, you're on the IR, man. Sorry, out for the year. Get healthy. Good luck next year, wherever the hell you go. We don't care where you go. Who makes that decision as an organization? That's what the point they're going to be at.
It should be Ulbrich. That comes with being an interim head coach.
He won't do it. Okay. So then just say they get, 2-8, 3-9. You say, hey, you know what? And Rodgers is playing terribly. Who says, you know what? We got to give Tyrod a chance, because Tyrod's going to be here next year. He's got a 2-year deal.
The New York Jets will not bench Aaron Rodgers. The only way that happens is if Rodgers goes on IR. I mean, it won't happen, dude. I mean, it.
So then now we're going to. Would you bench Tyron? Would you think Ulbrich would bench Tyron Smith?
I don't think he would, but he should have the power to if he wants to. But let me throw this out there. Do you think Ulbrich is? This is his first position. He's probably not going to be with the Jets next season if this continues. Do you think he's maybe throwing a bone to veteran players, saying, you know what, I'm not gonna bench you, for my future?
Don't you look worse? Like, this is his resume. So right now, what he's coming off looking at is his team is unprepared. They're poorly coached. There's no accountability, and he's a pushover. His team is soft, and they play with no heart, no passion, no pride. So to me, I'd have a lot more respect for Ulbrich if he came in today. You know what? Michael Clemens' weekly penalty is not acceptable. He's on the bench. Kinlaw liability, he's on the bench. Guys got to earn their playing time. And Sauce Gardner's got to play a lot better. Start putting guys on notice. I have a lot more respect for Ulbrich to do that, to be the pushover. Like, my feelings are hurt. I'm going to take a hard look at the tape. Don't lie to us, bro. We all been looking at it. The tape is not lying. Like, every friggin' analyst in the NFL knows what you're doing wrong, and you can't fix it. So instead of being everybody's best friend like Saleh was, which is a culture problem in itself, make a difference. Put your blueprint on this team other than watching this team go in the tank.
100%. 100% agree with you. I think Ulbrich, it honestly feels so. The transition from Saleh to Ulbrich, like it was such a reactionary type of move. Post London, losing streak, lose to the ex-Jet quarterback, and it's like, I'm pissed. We're gonna fire Saleh now. That's what it felt like, and it just, again, I hate to keep using the term, but where's the proactive approach? I think there's a lot of people that thought that Ulbrich could have been a head coach.
Yep.
Maybe next year, got some interviews, which is fine. And I'm all for, giving a guy an opportunity if you think he's deserved a shot. But to me, it's like, you know what? Ulbrich is good. He's good at calling plays. I'm freaking pissed. I'm firing Saleh, and we're just going to give the job to Ulbrich, as opposed to really fleshing out the idea and really making sure that this is the right, move for the franchise. So, yeah, Adam, I appreciate you, man. Guys, it's all good. Guys, it's all good. Aaron got the the cayenne water. Yeah, I saw something about that. I didn't really read too much into it, but I appreciate the 5, man.
He said Morstad gave him advice to do cayenne water, and so he felt terrible on Sunday, but he feels a lot better today, and he's gonna be great on Thursday where he can run around more, he said. That's what it is.
Ed, hope you're doing well, man, overseas. Joe Douglas' silence in all this is frightening. Yeah, I mean, he's always been behind the scenes.
Well, the bye week, I think, right? Isn't the bye week when he talks?
I don't know.
What can he possibly say? He will literally embarrass himself with anything he talks about with this team at this point.
Yeah. So Brian, this is the I don't know if you meant to say that I don't care anymore season, but I mean it's pretty startling, man. It's pretty startling, and I'm seeing a lot of affirm. Yeah, there's a pretty clear sense.
But you know what it is though? Like, we went in this season saying, you know what, the AFC East is up for grabs. To me, it was a foregone conclusion. Sweep the Patriots. Shouldn't have been. It should be an easy thing to do. We had all these expectations, and step by step, everything we wanted is not happening. You lost to Bo Nix. You lost the game to the Patriots, which is inconceivable. Aaron Rodgers can't close out games. The defense can't close out games. Sauce is regressing. Like, all these things, it's miserable to the point where it's Halloween and we don't care. Like, honestly, like the game on Thursday night, you watch because you're a fan with zero expectations. If they lose, so what? If they win, so what? Right? Like, does a win inspire you on Thursday night where you feel better? Like, oh, now we turn the corner. This is the kind of game they win, right? This is the kind of game they'll win. This is the kind of win when the Jets are down and out, they win one game. They're like, there's no quitting this team. And I won't buy into it, man.
It depends on how we look. I'll say that. If we beat the Houston Texans 35-10, 35-17, and we are clicking on all cylinders on prime time, I think that could, spark some life. Not saying it's going to fix every issue. The Jets have to go on a winning streak to get back to 500.
Right.
But what has been the issue all year with the New York Jets? Themselves.
Yep.
They beat themselves. Missing kicks, missing throws, turning the ball over, can't protect the quarterback, crap game plans, penalty yardage all over the place, wasting timeouts to late games. If we can clean that stuff up, this team is capable of winning football games. It is.
We've been saying that for a month.
Exactly. So do I have confidence that we will turn it around? No. But can we? I would say yeah.
But so, okay, can we turn around to what level? What's your turnaround? So instead of winning 11 games, they went 7 this year.
If the Jets go out there and beat down the Houston Texans, you're telling me that the vibe with whether it's you, whether it's the players in the locker room, it would stay flatlined? It wouldn't change a thing?
Okay, but what's turning around mean? So you won one game. You said they can win like 2 or 3 in a row? Or is it win 1, lose 1, win 1, lose 1, end up with 6 wins? Like, what's your definition of turned around?
The potential of turning it around. Halloween comes, bro. Thursday night, and the Jets somehow by the way, New York Jets are Vegas favorites by, I think, 2 points. Well, granted, Stephon Diggs did get hurt, but
yeah.
And I think Nico Collins is dealing with an injury too.
Yep, he is.
But that's still a pretty big statement there. I mean, based off of how the Jets have looked this season, I mean, you got to think they're underdogs in every game. But point is, if the Jets go out there and just beat down the Houston Texans, or if it's a close back and forth, and we don't have to live games, we're not wasting timeouts. I'm asking you, do you think within the locker room, do you think they're like, you know what?
They're relieved. They're relieved because right now the Jets are lucky that the Mets and Yankees made big playoff runs, and the Yankees are in the World Series and are falling apart. They're lucky for that So there was no World Series. The Jets would be front and center in every media story in New York, getting hammered on. They just lost 5 in a row. One win does nothing for me. So what? Every squirrel finds a nut sooner or later, right? Oh, you found your nut. Congratulations. You won a home game. Great. Now what? They'll probably celebrate. Social media be their content team, be cranking out things, trying to sell more overpriced tickets. And please come to games. We'll give you a coupon for a bottle of wine. Dude, it will do nothing for me. They've got to win like 3 games in a row for me to even think about turning something around.
Well, okay, so I'm the same way. I'm in the same boat as you, but I'm talking about for the players in the locker room, the Garrett Wilsons, the guys that are rolling their eyes on the sidelines.
I mean, they're probably relieved. Like, all right, finally, we get the monkey off our back. Now we can we're not going to get beat up on social media. The media can leave us alone for a week, and they can exhale. I think that's really. I'm not sure they're buying back into anything.
Okay, fair enough. Dante, I appreciate you, bro. Connor Rogers had a breakdown of who could be the new leadership of the Jets. Pete Carroll is vice president, the assistant GM of the Chiefs as the new Jets GM, and Todd Monken as head coach. I love Todd Monken. He was close. He was close on getting the Jets job initially before they went with Adam Gase. As far as Pete Carroll, as much as that would be cool, I just don't feel as though it's really like realistic. I love Pete Carroll. I love his culture. But he was vice president for the Seahawks for a long time. And he is up there in age. I believe he still lives over there out in Washington and continues to have a role with the Seahawks as some sort of like consultant / advisory position.
Yep.
I mean, to me, you're going to have to pay someone a lot of money, especially someone of Pete Carroll's stature. You're going to have to invest a lot of cash, first off, to just bring him over to the dysfunctional mess, which we're currently in, and saying, fix it, please. So it's going to cost a ton for him to just even consider it. And then you have to factor in, again, his age, him moving across the country. Does he really want to do that at this stage of his life? It's not like he's completely out of football. He still has a role with the Seattle Seahawks. So unless, Woody wants to, the Jets want to, I don't know, triple his pay, I just don't really feel as though.
And the other thing too you have is the Todd Monken. I think we all like Todd Monken. Everybody does. And Ben Johnson. Here's the problem. There's going to be a lot of job openings in the NFL. You look at the job opening, you look at the organization and the quarterback you're inheriting. If the Dallas Cowboy job, for the reason, becomes open, or even say the Jaguars, Trevor Lawrence is still there. Some of these jobs that are going to be opening up are going to have quarterbacks that you want to work with. That's where these guys are going to go to. Don't you think? Like, they're not going to go to the Jets.
Well, yeah. Let's play that game because it'll be fun to kind of go through it. Jake, I appreciate you, bro. I think the Jets should sign another wide receiver. We can't even get Corley on the field, bro. It is insane, right? And I think Ulbricht's excuse or reasoning was like we have a plethora of talent or something like that, but the passing game is. I want to see Corley out there, dude. And again, it goes back to Grant's comment before. I want to see young players.
Me too.
It's not a position where the veterans are clearly better or clearly overperforming, and we're like, we're losing games, and we're gonna have to do this. I'm sorry. It's like, no. What we're seeing right now is not cutting it. So because of that, we're going to give the young kids a shot. That's kind of my outlook on it. But I appreciate the 5, man. But yeah, dude, let's quickly go down the list, right? So I think Dallas could come open. I think I just cannot see McCarthy unless they go on a run. I just can't see McCarthy coaching the Cowboys in 2025. Do you think the Cowboys are more attractive right now than the Jets?
100%. Even with Jerry Jones, 100%. You got Dak Prescott, dude. They could sling it. They got talent.
I feel like you're locked in, man. You're locked into a ginormous deal.
I don't care, man. I think the Cowboys have talent where you can win with them. Like, if you're looking for a program that you want a complete rebuild, you're going to the Jets. If you want to go and have a chance to win right away, the Cowboys are that team.
Okay, so you go Cowboys over the Jets.
I would.
What about Jacksonville?
Well, the owner spends money, and it depends on what your opinion is on Trevor Lawrence. I mean, we all thought Trevor Lawrence second coming of whatever, and he's underperformed a little bit. They have some issues. I mean, if you're an innovative offensive mind, you probably want a shot at Trevor Lawrence, see what you can do with him, right? Because what are you looking at with the Jets? Jordan Travis, Tyrod Taylor, and whatever draft pick you have is probably going to be a bottom, like, what, 10th pick, 9th pick, something down there. I mean, Trevor Lawrence is already established, already been in the NFL. You already know what he can and can't do. I'd probably want the Jaguar job and take a shot at that, especially in that market where there's not a lot of pressure either, where it's like, you know what? I can get my 3 or 4 years, do my program before I get fired. With the Jets, it's probably 2 or 3. You have a longer tenure there too, I think.
Dude, and the Jags have some solid pieces on the D line, man, with Josh Allen, Walker, Armstead. Adam, bro, thank you. They need a ring off. They need a ring off 6 straight. Yeah, I'm in the same boat, man. We are in a complete. It feels like a tailspin.
It does.
Let's see. Where am I at here? We're gonna go for go on a playoff run, man. I hope you're right. I hope you're right, dude. Chicago Bears and New York Jets.
Bears, 100% Bears. Great organization, and you got Caleb Williams, dude. Like he's showing flashes of what he can do. They have talent there too. They're just poorly coached, and the coach makes some absurd decisions where any other coach is probably get more out of them. And that's the team on the rise. I'd do the Bears in a heartbeat.
Saints, Jets.
That's a good one because the Saints got all kinds of cap issues. It's what you think about Derek Carr. I actually like Derek Carr, which I'm crazy for that. That's an interesting one because you're inheriting a quarterback that's injured, inconsistent. That's a toss-up. I don't know. Great fan base, probably a better owner to work for. I don't know. What would you do with that one?
I think the Saints' job is solid. It's just the cap situation.
It's a mess.
It just doesn't feel like they're going to bite the bullet and just, let all their guys go for 2 years. It feels like they're going to keep doing this and then slowly just knock that cap down. I mean, I think right now the Saints are, for 2025, they're over 70 million above the cap right now. And they're, a 2-win team? Granted, tons of injuries and stuff, but Jason, dude, thank you so much. 6 of 7 teams in the AFC with a winning record have a quarterback they drafted. Jets have to stop being gun shy and swing again for sustained success. I want to build through the draft. And I think like when I look back on it, I think that's what the Jets were doing until they got tempted with this whole, like, we're one player away.
Well, until Zach Wilson bombed out.
Yeah, but still, I mean, there was a big push from Joe Douglas of we're going to accumulate draft picks. We're not going to go out and hand out these big money deals and go out and acquire these superstar splashy players and break the bank and set records on contract. We're going to wait the first day of free agency, pick up guys in tier 2 as like complementary pieces and build through the draft. Problem is most of the draft picks just didn't work out.
Yeah.
Outside of, the core 4, Brees, Sauce, Garrett, Jermaine Johnson. I mean, some of the guys have, but I just want us to start fresh and build through the draft, man. If one of these top dog quarterbacks are on the board, or the Jets have the 3rd pick or something like that, I mean, Shedeur Sanders is sitting there. I mean, what would you, or Cam Ward sitting there?
Take them. You have to.
Yeah,
they probably don't want to come here. They'd probably be like, demand the trade, but you gotta take them.
Yeah, so I'm trying to think of other teams. So, I mean, I guess right now, like, Jacksonville, more attractive. Chicago, more attractive. Saints, Jets, kind of 50-50. Is there any job that you can really see opening up? Maybe Stefanski in Cleveland, but I think if Stefanski gets let go, I think I would bring him in. He'd be
100%.
100%. Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah, but that's the thing with, like, that's when you, like, everybody has all these names they want. You got to look at your organization from top to bottom. Woody's not a like guy. It's a culture of losing. It's a true rebuild, and you don't have the quarterback in place. The quarterback in place is huge to lure a Johnson, a Monken, any of these big guys. Now, the question is, too, it's like, what happens with Aaron Rodgers? What if you saw the whole thing with his contract today with the dead money this year in 2026? It's like, what is Aaron Rodgers? What if he says, you know what? I was banged up this year. I have Devontae now. Next year will be better if I get a different coordinator. Then, Woody Johnson can kiss his ass, but you know what? He's coming back. Then you're completely screwed because what head coach wants to inherit Aaron Rodgers in the last year of his life, in NFL life? Nobody.
Mike McCarthy.
Oh, jeez. I'll just stop.
Then we're full on New York Packers.
Yeah, just get the yellow team.
Certified hater, bro. Thank you so much, man. Your comments are always so funny every stream. Just delete the franchise, change the name, create a new logo, relocate. We should all root for a new team. It sucks, man. I mean, we're gosh, the fans just deserve more. Not from an arrogant perspective, but it's just
you know who deserves more. I'll go another rant for 2 seconds. The season ticket holders deserve more. The Jets season ticket holders are getting screwed endlessly by this organization to the point that they're all canceling their tickets, which is great. They should.
How much are season tickets normally?
Depends on where you sit because you have PSLs, you have lower level, but you're getting the Jets.
Like, I have no.
I mean, you could sit upper level for like say $100. Like I spent the home opener face value of my seat was $200 a seat lower level, which is not cheap. But you're like, all right. But now it's like you look at your return on your investment, and the Jets have the audacity.
Sorry to cut you off. So with like in today's game, you got 8 to 9 home games.
Plus, you got paid. You got to buy 2 preseason games too. You got to pay for those, and you got to pay for parking.
So how much total are you looking at?
You're spending good money, dude. A couple $1,000.
Damn. Okay.
If you want to sit lower level, but so you have like you're saying, you just pay $100 a ticket. You're spending $1,000 a seat, whatever it is, and the parking pass. The Jets asked for the money early this year, like mid-season, right, during a losing streak, and did price increases. Could you imagine the balls it takes to say, you know what? We're losing again this year. We're embarrassing ourselves this year. We haven't made the playoffs in 13 years. But guess what? Pay us more to come here next year and watch a team with no general manager, no head coach, and no quarterback. You know what the balls is to do that? Like Woody Johnson's got to be out of his mind to even approve that. The timing of it, everything about it is just bad. It's like smacking in your face more and more. Like, want more? Here you go. Here's more. Keep paying me. I want more. That's wild, dude.
Yeah, normally, man, it's just like I'll typically go to the Jet Dolphin game in Miami every year, and I'll just try to scoop, some nosebleeds for like $30 or something. I'll go with a buddy or two or my brother or something. And that's just kind of like my experience. I actually went to a Bucks Rams game, prime time, which was cool, and those tickets were pretty expensive. I got invited to, invited to go to the game, so luckily I didn't have to pay for it, but it's the whole season ticket thing is crazy, man. Because again, I'm just used to kind of shelling out like $200, one game a year. So it's, and obviously, I'm not up in Jersey or New York or anything. So it's always interesting to hear like a season ticket holder's perspective. So outside of the game, I know you guys get perks as well, right?
Not much. I mean, I got rid of my tickets. I got rid of my tickets 5 years ago, because you literally, once the cold weather comes and the Jets are eliminated, you're paying $125 a ticket. You can't even give them away. Like you're literally throwing money away. Like I don't want to go to a game. It's 10 degrees outside and they suck. Anybody want tickets? Like I couldn't give away tickets for free. Like look at now. Do you think anybody wants to go tomorrow night to that game or Thursday night to that game? Nobody wants to go and spend $150 a piece on it. Like you're losing money hand over fist. Where it's like, you know what? I'd rather just go game by game. If I want to go, you spend money on it. If you don't, you don't, and it's no big deal. But it's rough, dude. It's a rough time for the Jets right now.
Yeah, so 25, bro. Thank you so much, dude. Only the Jets get Tyron Smith, and now he's back in levels of bad. Well, dude, the thing is with Tyron Smith, man, no one else wanted him.
Nope.
There was that report that came out after the Jets signed him, which was Tyron only had like the Jets offer and then a smaller Cowboys offer, and that was it. I mean, we even heard, I think it was either Saleh or Douglas addressed it, and they said we were surprised with the lack of interest from the from Tyron Smith's market, which was crazy. Dude, what's going on, Brandon? Vrabel's the Jets' new head coach, but he wants to keep Downing and Keith Carter. Would you accept? Honestly, dude, like that. I've seen crazier things, but I just don't think Vrabel comes here. But
nope, me neither.
Man, that's tough. I guess I would trust Vrabes.
And then he'd sign Tannehill too. Get the whole band back together.
Yeah, dude, he's still he's still not even on a squad. I know he's holding out for a solid shot, but or a good position, but I don't know, man. It's sad we're already Yeah, dude, it's sad we're already talking about the drafts. I mean, I've been hesitant. Like, I really want to crank out a mock draft. I've been actually watching a ton of college football this season. I have Saturdays off. things have been good, compared to like, previous years where it's just like I have a million things going on Saturdays or I'm working or whatever. So this year, I feel like it's just nice being up on everything this early on. Downside, I don't like having the New York Jets picking in the top 5. You know what I mean? Like before Halloween.
Yep.
So I'm right there with you, bro. And then Jason, you don't have to keep sending in money, dude. For real. Same goes for Dante. You guys sent in enough. Rodgers is going to hold this team in limbo in the offseason. Yeah, dude, that's actually a really, really, really good point.
And Woody Johnson's gonna be begging him
to stay
100%. How is he gonna sell tickets, dude? What player on his team is gonna sell tickets? Rodgers was his only glimmer of hope this year. But what do you think if Rodgers goes in? I'm not sure I'm gonna do. Then the Jets, how do they got to figure out their cap space, how they're gonna handle all that. When they do a quarterback, you have Tyrod, and Woody Johnson will probably be begging him to stay here for one more year, man. You and Devontae, one more year.
I don't like that at all, dude. I don't. I mean, Devontae, the Jets, I believe, can get out of Devontae's deal.
Yep.
But God, I mean, that sucks to even say. Inferno, bro, thank you so much, dude. The quarterback position long term worries me. Rodgers won't be here too long. Tyrod's a bridge. Man, excuse me. And do you really think Travis is learning valuable lessons? Who else could be the option? Dude, honestly, for me, the way I'm kind of looking at it right now, just being 100% realistic in my head, it's 2025 rolls around, new GM, new head coach. We hire them early in the process. And we let them do what they want to do. I would, prefer we hit the draft. If a quarterback falls to us in the first round, I'm not saying take a quarterback and that's it. But if a quarterback is there, like Cam Ward or Shedeur Sanders, someone who I feel good about, I'm a big fan of Milroe from Alabama. I don't think he should play right away, nor do I even think Cam Ward or Sanders should play right away. But
you got the perfect, but this works then. You have Tyrod here. The Jets would actually be doing the right thing. Like, you know what? You draft the quarterback that you want, but they may not be ready. Tyrod's a starter. Jordan Travis can do what he wants. And the young kid could sit and learn and figure it out. Hopefully you have a good offensive staff. That's the way they should have did it in the past. So that's actually, in that scenario, it's actually a good thing having Tyrod here.
Yeah. Yep. 100%. And dude, one of the things that like absolutely blows my mind is seeing the Jets, or not the Jets, seeing like the beat reporters talk about how Tyrod can be traded. I'm like, he's the one quarterback that I'm like, we need to make sure that he's on the roster next season 100%. So he can bridge and, kind of mentor the next guy and maybe even get a couple spot starts, be the starter early on. And, by the way, I posted a video on Rex Ryan earlier. Quick little side note, Rex Ryan, I appreciate that. Rex Ryan knows Tyrod, right? He gave him a shot in Buffalo and also worked with him in Baltimore.
No, but for everybody watching this show right now or listening on the podcast on the networks, check out Ian's video on Rex Ryan, because it's easy to say bring back Rex. It's the only guy who wants the job. He's actually campaigning for the job, and we love Rex's passion, his fire, and we remember his playoff runs at Mark Sanchez, which were great. We tend to forget the other side of Rex Ryan. And Ian, you did a real good job being fair, like presenting both sides. Like, all right, there's the positives, here's the negatives, here's what could happen. That's an excellent video, dude. I watched it. I was like, dude, that's really good quality, man.
Dude, first off, man, I appreciate that. I was just trying to look at the positives and negatives, because whether you want to talk about, like, take your pick. Vrabel has cons. Mm-hmm. Kingsbury has cons. Brian Flores has cons. Like, every coaching candidate has their fair share of positives and their fair share of negatives. I really just try to, go through and just try to be, honest about the situation.
Can I give you a take on Rex?
Yeah.
If Rex he's campaigning for it now. To me, mm-hmm. Rex is the kind of coach where with a win now team, I think he can win, because he doesn't have to rebuild. He doesn't have to bring in personnel. The personnel is kind of already here. He'll clean up a lot of different things. I'd do it like tomorrow. If you're going to do Rex, I'd do it tomorrow. Bring him in right away to get his hands on this team as fast as possible. And then if you want to bring back Aaron Rodgers next year with Rex, it's already like you've already established 6 or 7 games of Rex being Rex. And then you're not starting fresh next year. You already got things in place and cleaned out some stuff. To hire Rex next year, it's kind of like, all right, Rodgers will probably be gone. You're gonna be rebuilding with him unless you go get a Tyrod. But if you're gonna be bold and crazy and stupid, do it tomorrow. Like, why not?
Right? That kind of reminds me of like the Colts hiring Saturday a little bit.
But Saturday,
like
Saturday had no coaching experience whatsoever. He was completely lost. He was some like consultant. He knew how to call plays. Rex is a legitimate head coach, which it'd be weird, but if you know what Rex is, like he can win with this talent. He can. It's like you wish you had a better staff on offense, but to do it next year, it'd be like, all right, I'd rather just do it now and just go for the full like circle, circus.
See, I think I would rather give Rex a fair shot and just bring him in the offseason compared to now and say, all right, Rex, because like you said, dude, he's campaigning for it now. Obviously, the Jets are going to be taking interviews, assuming, Ulbrich and the Jets don't go on this, 10-game win streak, and make the playoffs and do, something crazy. But yeah, I think it gives Rex enough time to formulate a staff to kind of.
But why not give him the time now? Get them in the locker room now. See what they are on a game day basis now. See all the flaws in your organization firsthand while the fire is burning.
So, okay, let me ask you: if you're Woody Johnson, what would the contract look like? If you want Rex right now,
dude, Woody Johnson's got no choice. Your team is a dumpster fire. Everything is burning down, and everybody hates you.
How long would you give Rex on a deal?
He's going to probably ask what 4-year deal. But dude, it doesn't matter. Like you could fire. I mean, this is what you're dealing with. But you give him, and I'm not saying this is the best idea in the world, but where we're at right now, if you're looking for that spark, that fire, and Rex is going to be your guy, I wouldn't wait till next year to go through the shenanigans. I do it like Afram said. I do it in the bye week. I wouldn't care, dude, because you could see firsthand what Olu is, what's Corley, what's this defense, and then you go into the offseason understanding what your free agency plan is because you've seen firsthand. These guys won't fit my defense. This won't happen. Like this isn't my scheme. You're going by live what your eyes are telling you then.
But do you think that's a little unfair to Rex to say, hey, you've been out of football for 10 or however long?
You're giving him a great opportunity to turn the team around in season with no expectations. You're taking a job where we don't expect wins. Just don't play ugly, sloppy football. Like right, say they lose tomorrow night. I keep saying tomorrow, Thursday. They're 2-7. Say you hire Rex during the bye, and they end the season on a 3-3, whatever. Okay, if they end 2-5. Nobody cares because it's like all about next year now. But you're giving him a chance to at least clean up what's here, weed out guys that shouldn't be here, and understand what the team's needs are. I know this is an outlandish take. I know it's crazy, but if I'm going down this Rex Ryan path, I'd do it sooner than later and let just go full chaos with it and see what happens.
See, my kind of mindset is like, you know what? Again, if Woody wants to go down this path, and by the way, Dante, I appreciate you, bro. Thank you. You do not have to keep sending in money, dude. But I do appreciate it. If Woody wants to go down this path of Rex Ryan, I just feel like okay. So you have a bye week, right? We're talking in season, so you're not going to change schemes in season and like install a new playbook in the middle of the year. Rex. Like if you're going to be doing this in the middle of the season, the chances of Rex coming in with a fully loaded staff of available coaches that know that roster and come in and what are you going to do? Fire everyone else? Or are you going to force, Rex and say, okay, well, we are paying these guys and they are here and you're going to have to work with them. It seems very,
it's half-assed. But you know what you can do? You can start establishing culture and accountability. He could be your CEO type head coach. You know what? Downing still stays here with this. I'm gonna oversee this. Ulbricht's a dead man walking, bro. He is not a head coach. He shouldn't be calling plays on defense anymore. He's so far in over his head, and you can see it. So you bring in Rex because listen, Ulbricht, you're back to your job. You're DC. Like we know it's not perfect, and let Rex as a CEO type head coach figure out where the accountability problems are, figure out where the culture problems are, and if that can make changes. Where you know what, Michael Clemens, bro, you're not my kind of guy. You go. That's what I mean. This is desperate times, desperate measures. Like why wait? You're delaying the inevitable. Ulbrich isn't the guy. We know it. The team is going nowhere. We know it. Nothing's going to change. So how many more losses do you need to see to make it happen? I guess Afram's probably right. Make it the bye week. I almost cursed there. Sorry. Make it the bye week though. You know what I mean? Like, hey, not here. Rex, your job. Take it. Let's go. Because nobody else wants this job, dude. I don't think they do.
I don't know, man, dude. I'm not buying that. Bro, 1 of 32. Become
With
a
a lousy,
millionaire.
with a lousy owner and no quarterback and a lot of holes and not a lot of cap space.
Well, that's what I'm saying, bro. Full rebuild. But to the Rex point, I don't mind it from the Jets' perspective, but from Rex's perspective, like that's a lot to put on his plate.
He would
Coach
love
a
it.
team. What?
He would love it. You think Rex wouldn't love this dude? He's already he wants to.
I think you would love it, but I think there needs to be, like to me, this feels very like Rex, you're a savior, please, savior, please save us.
But
Because
you know,
it's not a guarantee that Rex wins out or goes on a winning streak. What happens if he does lose a bunch of games?
but nobody's gonna care this year. But I think if you're gonna go, and listen, I know these takes are wild. I'm just embracing chaos because this is the situation that we're in. Especially if Woody Johnson says, you know what, Aaron Rodgers wants to come back next year. There's not many coaches that will want to inherit Aaron Rodgers. Rex Ryan would love it, dude. He would love every second of that because he's like, you know what, my defense is going to play great, score 20 points a week. We're going to win a lot of games. Rex would embrace all of it because he wants this job so bad. Not many coaches would want to do that, especially if Aaron Rodgers wants to come back.
It's tough, man. It's tough. I mean, no one's really right or wrong. It's everyone's kind of opinion here. Let me throw this by actually real quick. Dante, again, thanks so much, dude. Is there any truth to the fact that Chris Johnson wanted to sell the team? I actually don't know. I didn't hear anything about that. I don't remember, reading any articles or hearing any rumors about it. Yeah, so I'm not sure if there was anything to that. And then 25, dude, thank you so much, dude. JD needs to go now. It's fire sale time. He's lazy.
I agree. She's been fired Monday.
So
why not?
I'm all for making the moves post season. Like,
but you're not scared. You're not scared to have a lame duck general manager that has a team that's been making decisions for next year when he's not going to be here next year himself. Doesn't that seem kind of stupid?
I think Woody's pulling the strings. I think if Woody wants to keep the team intact, Joe Douglas has zero power to say, "Oh, well, we got a first round pick for first round pick offer for Davante Adams. We're going to do it."
I hope Woody has that. My concern is that Woody Johnson's worried about trying to win as many games as possible this season just to sell any kind of ticket and save the embarrassment he's going through. So he may not make those splash moves. Like they lose Thursday, man. I'd be getting rid of Adams, Williams, Reddick, everybody. They all be gone. Why not?
Dude, I mean, if I was running the New York Jets, man, I'd be selling at this point. The Jets they have the perfect landscape, the perfect environment to be sellers. They don't have a good record. They're an old team. They're demoralized. They have a bunch of one-year deals that you can unload, clear money, and get extra draft picks. Problem is, again, lame duck GM. But if you fire Joe Douglas, who's going to be making the decisions?
That's the problem. Like DJ,
I think it's going to be Woody Johnson either way.
The Jets should do DJ Reed a solid and trade him. Like, you know what? You've been a great Jet. You deserve to be on a winning organization and trade him too. But you know what? You're not going to be here next year. We can't afford to keep him because you got to pay everybody else. Send him to a winning team, man, in the NFC somewhere.
Pluto, how about addressing the O-line instead of killing all our quarterbacks? First off, bro, I appreciate the $5, man. It does mean a lot. Yeah, the offensive line, of course, has underperformed this season. AVT's hurt. We haven't seen Olu. Tyron Smith is just not living up to expectations. Morgan Moses just at times looks just beat up, and I feel so bad for him because I love Moses. John Simpson's looked pretty good at left guard, I will say. But it's just, I really don't think it's a coincidence. The Jets continue to have bad offensive line play. What's the staff looking like? One of the worst offensive staffs in football, with a running game coordinator / running back coach here in Keith Carter that, how many times do you hear anything positive?
Yeah, I mean, I feel terrible for Morgan Moses because he's playing well, but he's so banged up. But other than that, at some point, you want to see what Carter Warren is, and you want to see Olu play. You do. And now the AVT thing is just like, man, every year, the money he's making, you like him as a player, the potential, but the money he's making, and he's never hurt. He's never healthy.
So I think one thing that we do need to, and Pluto, bro, I appreciate you, man. Thanks again. the one thing that we need to talk about here, right, with potential new coaches, the bright side, because I know you said, oh, Bears are better and Jacksonville's better, as potential landing spots, right? Because if you're Cliff Kingsbury, you have the chance to go work with Caleb Williams or Trevor Lawrence or whatever. But there's a lot of options, man. Dude, there is a ton of candidates. I mean, they're truly, like, I think the Jets interview list is going to be sweet.
Yeah, I mean, no, listen, there's names like, listen, I'm an enormous Aaron Glenn fan, loved him as a Jet, and he's a rising coach, a great defensive mind, leader, hard nosed, like guys like that. Then it's like, all right, first time head coach with the New York Jets, you fear they're going to get eaten alive. And then it's like, the problem remains to be the offense. You need to have a guy that can develop, has a good, good offensive line coach, good quarterback coach, and a good play caller on offense. We haven't had that in what, a decade? How long has it been? It's been a long time, man.
So let me just counter you real quick. Does Rex solve that issue?
I think Rex is smart enough to realize that, listen, he's already been a coach twice. He knows he needs a top level offensive coordinator. If he has Aaron Rodgers, it makes it a lot easier, but he knows where his flaws are, man. He's not stupid. It's just he's made bad decisions and he was kind of arrogant in certain ways. But now it's like, I think over time, he self-taught himself where, listen, I need this, and he knows where the Jets' weaknesses are, offensive line coach. I would hope he would address that kind of stuff. And I'm not, listen, I know this is coming off like I think Rex is the answer. I just think that the more there's talk about it, I think Woody Johnson's going to be really tempted by this for a guy campaigning for the job. Obviously, you want somebody else, but I'm not sure who else wants to come here. And a first-time head coach scares me like hell with the Jets.
Yeah, TN, Rex's time has come and gone. He did a good job with the Mangini-built team and started bringing in players like Copels and Kyle Wilson. That was one thing too. Like those draft classes, like a lot of those first-round picks, the guys just either did not work out or they simply weren't developed. I mean, we could talk about so many other players too, man. Like Mo Wilkerson and D. Milliner and all these different guys. There was a lot of players that were, Rex was here for a long time.
Even bringing in Derek Mason when they had Cotchery, like things like that were the huge blows too.
I think one thing that also kind of gets lost in this whole mix is, when talking about, former coaches' resumes, is the ability, or I guess maybe the non-ability. I don't even know how I would word it. I think a lot of people talk about coaches based off of what they've done, and they're going to assume that that's exactly what we're going to get moving forward. Like, for example, like when I suggest Brian Flores, I'll have people like outside of the channel say, well, him, he didn't get along with Tua, and it was this big thing. And it's like, he's, we're years removed from that.
Yep.
Just like Rex is however many years removed from his position with the Jets and the Bills. Like, these guys are smart. They don't just luck their way up to the top of the NFL. Like, there is, again, how should I say this? There is an ability for coaches to adapt and evolve.
Yep.
Rex can eat it, just like Brian Flores addressed it, right? Yeah. I wish I maybe did some things a little bit differently, and he feels as though he's grown as a coach, and obviously Tua has went on to have some success, and it is what it is. Moving forward, Brian Flores can identify the mistake, identify the issue, and move forward with that understanding, as opposed to doing the same thing over and over again.
That applies to great coaches too, though. But look at Andy Reid. When Andy Reid left the Eagles, they said the game was passing him by with the Eagles. People wrote off Andy Reid like, oh, no, look what he's done there. I understand Mahomes, but Andy Reid he's evolved as a head coach. A lot of these coaches get better. Like Harbaugh, like Jim Harbaugh and John Harbaugh don't do the same thing every year. They keep adjusting their ways. Look at Mike Tomlin. Mike Tomlin does more with less every year. You're like, how the hell is this guy winning 9 games every year? Like, these coaches get, and so now you got to hope where a guy like Rex, who loves the game of football, lives for it, learns about himself. All right, this is where I failed here. This is where I failed here. Give me this chance to prove I've learned what I'm doing. All right.
Yeah. I think, just us as people, like we can, all kind of put ourselves, in similar spots, right? Like, oh, if I'm working a job for 2 years, I get fired. And in my next spot, my next opportunity, I'm going to say, hey, you know what? I got fired because of X, Y, and Z. I'm going to make sure I'm on top of my stuff and not do those things so I'm not canned. Like Rex could very well,
Like
Go
Pete
ahead.
Carroll. Pete Carroll was that. The Jets fired Pete Carroll. Then he went to the Patriots. Then look what he did with him. You got Dick Vermeil. There's a lot of examples. Like they're the anomaly. A lot of coaches get second and third chances. They bomb out. Even listen. Let's be honest. Todd Bowles isn't doing too bad with Tampa. He's holding his own. Not the best coach, but they're winning games, winning playoff games. It's interesting.
Yeah, man. I do think there is something to time, and again, these guys' ability to recognize the issues. I think it is tough when you're in the day to day, where you're like a Saleh or Ulbrich.
Yep.
And it's like, why isn't anything changing? Why isn't anything changing? Because there hasn't been that time to pass. I bet you if Saleh, gets on the podium and talks about his Jets job 3 years from now, it'll sound a lot different than if you were to ask him right now.
Yeah,
he's probably going to be, oh yeah, I screwed up here, I messed up there, should have done a better job here. Compared to maybe like right now where everything is still so fresh and it's just such a whirlwind.
Well, you got what's his face? You got who's the coach of the Commanders? With Quinn?
Dan Quinn, yeah.
Another one. Like it's I don't know. There's Ron Rivera, another one. Like there's guys where it's like it's learning the ropes of the NFL. And a first-time head coach, your head's swimming, especially in this market where you can get eaten up in a heartbeat with this fan base and the media. So
yeah, so I think we hit on a lot of different topics. Obviously, short week this week against Houston. Good team on Halloween. Should be really interesting. Are you going to be streaming for it?
Yeah, of course. Halloween, man. Halloween stream. We're going to eat candy and have costumes and whatever else we're going to do.
What are you dressing up as?
I don't know. Woody Johnson. I'm going to be a clown for Halloween. I had to, man. You know I've been angry. I've been angry all week.
Rex head coach Wink Martindale, DC.
Oh, I love that. Everybody hate this team. They would hate this team. Everybody.
I love Wink, dude. I love Martindale.
That would be awesome. Man,
blitz heavy, guys coming from every which way. One of the because I think really the big question with Rex is like offensive staff, right? Who's going to be that OC? I think there's a couple available guys that
Frank Reich
Rex knows. I was gonna say Anthony Lynn. Rex loves Anthony Lynn, and I believe Lynn was on the Jets staff before.
He was. Yep.
So he knows the city, he knows Rex, he knows this team, and he's also available. So you don't have to like worry about trying to pry him away and going back and forth with the other team, worrying about a team blocking it. Or Greg Roman,
another one. That's a guy. Rex would love that kind of guy. Yep.
Yeah, and because Greg was with him in Buffalo.
Yep.
With Tyrod. So kind of just a rough, let me just throw this out there, right? Just kind of spitballing. Rex head coach, Wink Martindale, DC, Greg Roman, OC, Tyrod Taylor, your kind of stopgap starter for the first 2 months of the year.
Yep.
Or if he's playing well all year, Jalen Milroe, second round.
Done.
Running quarterback to develop with Greg Roman.
I'm done. Let's do it. Sign me up. Start tomorrow. Start Friday. Once they lose to the Texans, we'll start Friday. We'll fire him, get Rex in here, and start all over.
Ravens fan here. You don't want Roman, I promise, bro. I actually met Roman.
This is why you're friends with him,
ago. Huh?
You're friends with him now. Now the story comes out.
Nah, I just had one conversation with him. I was just like, bro, because I saw him and he was on the sidelines, actually at the Senior Bowl, and I was like, bro, I gotta be honest. Like, I love what you do with dual threat quarterbacks and stuff. So we just kind of had like a cool little back and forth, with it. And he was a super nice guy, super cool. But obviously in Baltimore he did flame out, and he kind of flames out wherever because he was with San Francisco with Kaepernick and Harbaugh.
I got one more. And Mike Westhoff for special teams. Bring him back too.
Bro, he's on Denver staff.
I know. Great coach. Bring him back too.
I mean, at this point, let's just bring in Schottenheimer for QB coach. But I think that's going to do it for us. Is there anything else that you wanted to dive into?
I apologize, man. I've been all fired up. I love talking to you about football and stuff, and you get me all revved up, and you push my buttons on purpose. I know you do it on purpose, and you put those takes out there. But this is probably the longest one we've done, I think.
Hey, man. Yeah, there's a lot of Mike Westhoff deserves to be in the Jets Ring of Honor. He is no joke.
He should have been a head coach.
Yeah, I was surprised that he never. I remember just as a Jet fan, like in those years, always worried that he was going to leave and become a head coach. But yeah. Sorry, I'm just reading some of these comments here. Must admit, love that idea. Rex Wink, Roman. Yeah, Frank Reich, dude, that's an interesting option.
Yep.
I think Reich stepped away from the game this year just to like take a break.
Because he was making a ton of money from the Panthers.
Also, too, another thing that we have to factor in is like guys that could be fired this season. You know, not suggesting I want all of these guys.
Stefanski fills that bolt, dude. I'd take him in a heartbeat, no problem, absolutely no problem.
Skip, I appreciate that, bro. Disrespect, thank you, man, thank you. I appreciate you guys hanging out. Right, Tuesday night, work night. I appreciate you guys. And so Charlie boy, Doug Peterson, potential OC candidate, just throwing it out there. I don't really know how I would feel about it, but I don't know. I mean, if you really start to pry at NFL, coaching staffs, like you'll be surprised on the names you'll see.
Well, especially if you're talking about offensive coordinator as opposed to head coach. Some of these names aren't terrible.
Yeah. Tyson, JC, Kingsbury. Oh, yeah, for sure. I just think he'd prefer the Bears with – I mean, he was with Caleb in USC.
Yeah, he wants that job.
He already has all the weapons and everything like that. He has a pretty aggressive general manager as well. So, yeah, Grant, I appreciate that, guys. Appreciate everyone hanging out. And yeah, thanks so much. And as always, go Jets. We'll be back next Tuesday over on Tyson's channel. Let's Talk Jets Radio. Peace.